Today, we shall be looking at a very controversial question which a lot of people have been asking, and that is, can a man be raped? We are all conversant with the fact that whenever we talk about rape, people believe that it is something that has to do with one gender, and that is the female gender. How correct is this in law? We often hear people say, especially the male gender, saying that they were raped. And people will ask, how can a man be raped? Now, we shall be looking at what the law says as regards this. Both the criminal code, which governs the criminal law in the southern part of Nigeria, and the penal code, which governs the criminal law in the northern part of Nigeria, have a common ground when it comes to what rape is. Rape is defined in law as an act of committing sexual intercourse against a victim against the victim's consent, or with the victim's consent if the consent is obtained by force, by fraud, by intimidation, or by misrepresentation as to the nature of the act. For rape to occur, there are ingredients that the law requires under this law, and that is that there must be what we call penetration. Now, the law looks at penetration as the penetration of the female organ known as the vagina. Under these two laws that we mentioned, a rape is said to have occurred when there is a penetration of the female genital organ by the male organ without the person's consent. But this definition of the law seems not to be the position of the law as it is today. Under the criminal code and under the penal code, the answer is that a man cannot be raped because a man does not have female genital organ. But the law has changed since 2015 when the National Assembly passed an act called the VAPP, Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act 2015. That act took into consideration the modern approach to all forms of sexual violence that take place between men and women. Because this law took into consideration the fact that sexual activity can take place otherwise by the use of genital organs. That's what they call the oral sex, and what they call the anus penetration and all that. So this act has provided what the law says to include when there's a penetration of both of the anus or of the mouth or any part of someone's organ without the person's consent. Therefore, since a man has mouth, a man has anus, once there's a penetration of a man's anus or a man's mouth by a woman or whoever against the person's consent, that is rape under the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act. And the penalty is life imprisonment. Now you know that a man can be raped. You now know what the law says. And be careful the way you behave. Don't forget to like, share, and comment, and follow us on this channel for more. In our next episode, we shall be looking at the question, can rape occur between husband and wife? In other words, can a wife accuse the husband of rape in law? We shall be looking at this at the next episode. I remain Ikechukwu Maximus Ugoke, the Hakunamatatalawyer, bringing the law to a layman's understanding. No worries.